everyone, I wanted to share with you this absolutely gorgeous Alter Ego Midsummer eyeshadow palette. This is a dupe for the Anastasia Nouveau eyeshadow palette. I'm just gonna jump on in. I wanna show you this palette up close. I also have swatches, and then I'm also gonna show you a try on. I'm gonna put this palette on this eye, and I'm gonna show you the Anastasia palette on this eye. I don't know if you can even tell a difference at all. These swatches are pretty much identical. Really the only difference, if you're familiar with Anastasia eyeshadows, number one, these are a lot more expensive, but there's a lot more fallout in these. Out of all of the Alter Ego palettes they've ever done, this one is my absolute favorite of all of them. Out of all my eyeshadow palettes that I own, period, this is one of my all-time favorites. I love the colors, I love the pigment, I love how smoothing it is on my eye. I'll just go ahead and tell you right now, if you have mature eyes, I'm 50 years old, if you have crinkly, crepey eyes, you are going to love this palette because this eye is super smooth. It looks like I have some type of a smoothing effect on this eye, and then this one's kind of crinkly. So I don't know, I bought this one, of course, because that's what I do. I do makeup videos, but I would much rather have this one for $17 and then I have a discount code on top of it. But I'd much rather have an affordable one that makes my eye look a little more aged gracefully and more youthful than this one's kind of crinkly. But in the end, I'm gonna zoom in so you can see the whole result up close. My background's different. I'm in a hotel. We're about to go out of town again, and I'm sweating right now because I'm having a hot flash and I'm sitting in the sun. I'm trying to not have the sun directly on my face, but I wanted to use natural lighting for this video so you could see the palette and the swatches better. All right, and then these are the swatches in natural light. It is kind of a cloudy day. It's an overcast. Every now and then the sun does peek out. The top row are the swatches in the Alter Ego palette, and then the bottom row are the swatches in the Anastasia palette that I matched up. These almost look identical, but I don't know if you can see. Let me try to get a little bit closer, or I'll try to zoom in. Maybe you can notice some of the swatches on the Anastasia. They're a little kind of chunky. I think most Anastasia palettes that I've ever gotten, they do have a little more fallout, kind of chunky on some of them. The swatches on these, they swatched so smooth and beautifully on the Alter Ego. Now the sun is starting to peek out a little bit more, so maybe you can see a little bit more how pretty these are even when the sun shines on them. So I'll start by putting the Alter Ego Vanilla eyeshadow on one eye, and then the Anastasia Paloma on the other eye, which they look identical. And I've already primed both eyes with the Alter Ego eyeshadow primer. And then I'm just gonna kind of make my own crease with this neutral matte shadow in the Alter Ego called Tuscan. And then the shadow that looks almost identical to it in the Anastasia palette is called Fleur. And then after I blend that out, I'm going to do kind of like an outer V, and the shade I'm gonna use out of the Alter Ego palette, I'm going to use the shade called Meadow. Now I like this shadow because it's kind of like a dark matte, dark green shade, and I like it because in the palette it looks like it's super duper pigmented, but I like that I can build it up. And then you'll notice when I use it in the Anastasia palette, I'm gonna use the shade Liberty. But Liberty is quite pigmented when I first put it on. So if you are a skilled makeup artist, you probably will appreciate how pigmented it is in the Anastasia palette. But for someone like me who's not super duper experienced, I have to be a little careful where I place it at first. So I will just go back in with the Midsummer palette from Alter Ego and just build it up a little bit more with the shade Meadow, just so it can match what I did with the shade Liberty in the outer V. I'm also putting a little bit of what I put in my crease and a little bit of what I put in the outer V on my lower lash line. And if you notice, I just kind of sloppily apply it to my lower lash line, which is totally fine for me because I am going to clean that up with a little bit of concealer when I'm totally finished. So it's okay if it just looks a hot mess at first because I do fix it at the end. And next I want to try this really pretty purple shade, but I like to put a hint of a little lighter shade underneath instead of using an eyeliner. So on the Alter Ego side, I'm going to use this really pretty shade called Lavender, and then on the left eye I'm going to use this really pretty shade from Anastasia called Wisteria. And then on my eyelid, I want to put a little bit of this really pretty gold shimmer shade called Glare from the Midsummer Alter Ego palette, and then the matching shade from the Anastasia palette is called Isle. And since I don't like a super sparkly shimmery look on my eyes, I'm going to kind of tone down that golden shade and put a little bit more of, from the Alter Ego palette, I'm gonna put a little bit more of that matte vanilla shade, which is called Vanilla. I'm gonna put a little bit more of that right over top of the shade Glare, just to kind of tone that down. And same thing, I'll put some of that shade Paloma right over top of the Anastasia side. So both sides, color-wise, they do look identical. If you didn't know that I used two separate palettes, you wouldn't even be able to tell a difference. However, one thing I do notice, if you have more mature eyes, or if your eyes are like me, I'm 50 years old now, so I'm starting to notice a little more kind of crinkly skin on my eyelids. I do notice that the Alter Ego side, this side is a lot more smoothing. This side I feel like shows a little more texture. Let me get out of the sun. I'm trying to use natural lighting, and then of course I'm starting to sweat now because I feel the sun and I'm having a little bit of a hot flash. So I actually really do like this side better, but ignore the mess I made. I'm about to clean that up with a concealer. All right, so the sun is starting to go down next to this window. Leave me a comment down below. Let me know if these are the type of shades that you gravitate towards and if you plan to pick up this palette. I'm absolutely loving this palette. This right now is one of my favorite palettes ever that I've ever used. I'm probably gonna wear this palette every single day until I'm tired of it, which I don't know if that will happen anytime soon. Oh look, now the sun's starting to come out. I'm gonna cut this video off now before I turn completely fluorescent bright. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, let me know. And then let me know if you want me to do any other videos showing any other little looks that I've come up with this. Remember, I'm not a makeup artist. I just enjoy playing around with makeup. But if you wanted me to try out any other looks using this palette, if there's any other shades that you wanted to see me try on, leave me a comment down below and let me know, and I'm happy to, try those out and show those as well. I hope you all are having a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next video.